Ladies and gentlemen, we are officially now in the NFL circuit. How fast is this year gone? We've burned through everything. We started the baseball season, the Olympics, the Euro, and everything like that. All since Kansas City might still be a dynasty. God forbid, God help us. But in essence, we're already here. Week one has already gotten underway. But as I sit in this chair today, I am going to do a little bit of an experiment, pretty much to think, and to wonder what every fan base is thinking about all our 32 teams. I remember doing videos like this last year when I first started, and trust me, I have somewhat evolved. So, in case you guys are still hanging on to this lovely ride that we have called Jimmy Jam Sessions, there is that thing wherever it is the subscribe button. Hit that if you want to be alerted for new stuff coming around. Well, we've got a video to do. We got the NFL season to get ready for. Let's go to work. And as always, as I always say, there's that thing, do what you need to do, and we do appreciate you. But I am going to do a little bit of it, as I said before, an experiment. I am going to pretty much predict, and it's not exactly, the same thing, not necessarily an opinion thing, but what exactly is the fan base of each NFL team thinking when it comes to this upcoming 2024-25 season, all the way to the Super Bowl in New Orleans? There's a lot of people that think Kansas City is already penciled in and penned in for the Super Bowl, because to three-peat, it probably may happen, God forbid. But when I do a certain thing, meaning I'm going to go in the alphabetical order of each team, and I will take the first thing that a fan base is going to think of, one sentence, and what is it going to be? You're going to find out. And this is going to be credited to All Sports Cultural page on Instagram. Those guys are bloody legends, I'll tell you that. So I am going to start with the first one, Arizona, the Cardinals. What does the fan base think? Kyler Murray and MHJ will feed families. That is pretty much is the bulk of the of the of the Arizona offense. I mean, you do get Connor, you do have a good cut tight end, a young offensive line, young defense. They're still probably going to be last in that division, but Arizona will play everybody tough in their division. But Kyler Murray to Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to make headwaves. Give it time. My team, the Atlanta Falcons. What does this fan base think? Finally, a real quarterback again. Last year, Desmond Ridder and Taylor Heineke, worst quarterback room in the league. Now you probably have the best in the division, and probably up there. If something happens with Cousins, you got Penix in your back pocket. Very, very, very awkward response from the media to why Atlanta went and picked Penix, but now they have the future, and you get Cousins for 3-4 years, barring his health. We'll find out, because you needed that quarterback in that room, and especially in a division that is winnable, and you have a high-end, very easy schedule to go for. The Baltimore Ravens, what are the Ravens thinking? Isaiah Likely is next up. I think we've already seen that. The Ravens did not necessarily, you don't ever think the Ravens is high offense. Lamar Jackson, he wins 70% of his games. But now he's got pieces. He's got Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers. And Mark Andrews at the tight end. You now have a second wide receiver. And he showed that in a game against Kansas City. And I don't want to hear this crap about they lost the game by a toe. The rules are rules, and Kansas City's already bragging about it. The Ravens are not going anywhere. They are in the Super Bowl bubble. Meanwhile, the Buffalo Bills, what does their fan base think? Josh doesn't need help. An MVP season. It's Josh Allen. You're not going to find that much of a gifted athlete that's going to run, throw. Now his wide receiver core is going to take a little bit of a down, because they're young players. Now that Shakur kid is probably going to be their number one, but they did pick up a couple in the draft, and this is now next man up. They now have a running game and they have an offensive line, and they're still going to contend in a very, very, very tough AFC East. The Carolina Panthers, my boy, Carolina, Chris Everett. Oh, God, love you. What do the Carolina Panthers think? Prayers. You got to make sure Bryce Young's got pieces. He now has more. He now has better pieces than he does second year around. Good luck to him. I mean, I know you get like Deontay Johnson from the Steelers, but your team is still young, and you may have the worst owner in football. Sorry, not sorry, but I like seeing Carolina succeed, but you got a long way to go with that owner. The Bears. What do the Chicago Bears think? Our offense will be top 5. It's not out of the question. You go get Keenan Allen. You draft Aduniz. You get 2 good tight ends. You get Deontay Swift. You get a running game, and Caleb Williams. They have people saying he could be like an era of maybe. I don't know. Is he going to be an Andrew Luck and finally have the Bears to have a 4,000-yard passer? This offense could very well surprise a lot of people, especially in the NFC North. That division is now could very well be a top division in the entire league. The Bengals, Zach Huey, that dude. Oh, Attic Talks, what does the Bengals think? Pay Jamar for freaking sake. Pay the guy. Even Zach would tell you the Bengals can sometimes be some of the cheapest teams in the league and not pay their team. You gave Joe Burrow the bag. Read that story about Jamar Chase wanting to go on the same street that Joe Burrow and asked everybody, "Hey, I want to buy your house." You end up buying one. You need that piece. Your wide receivers, a couple of them left. You gotta get that big one. You got a good tight end. You got a young running back. And I know Mixon's gone, but the Bengals are still going to be out there. The Browns, yes, I use the dog logo. What do the Browns think? The old Deshaun is back. Or is he? If you do not have Deshaun Watson at at the peak or the prime of what he was when he was in Houston, and you paying him all that money, the Browns aren't going to be that formidable. But they have a top 5, 6, 7 roster. They're not going to be an easy out in the AFC North, probably the best division in football. If Deshaun is at his highest end and healthy, they're not an easy out and could very well be a wild card. It's not out of the question. What about them boys? America's team. What did the Dallas Cowboy fan base think? This is actually our year. Or is it? Or is it? You're lucky you got CeeDee Lamb back. Micah Parsons will be around. But then I saw a meme thing that, Dak Prescott will sign a 10-year deal for like, that will guarantee him $60 million a year. Ooh, we find out because some people don't know they're going to make the playoffs or not because you didn't do much in the offseason. The Broncos, it's Denver, Mile High City. What do they think? Bo Nix steal of the draft. I wouldn't say he's a steal, but Sean Payton got his guy. So Bo Nix will be another rookie quarterback to go through. Now, the Broncos have got some B talent all over, running back, wide receiver, if Cortland Sutton stays. So, and that's a young defense that's stingy. So Denver not going anywhere, but I had them in the worst division in football just because Kansas City's going to win it by default. But Denver, a little bit of a rebuild. We know that new ownership as well. Remember that. The Detroit Lions, let's do it. What do their fan base think? Super Bowl or bust? The Cinderella story's over. No Cinderella man from Eminem. You won the division. You got to the playoffs. You got to the NFC title game. You were a bad couple of decisions away. And Brock Purdy playing God or whatever. The Lions would have been a great story to beat Kansas City in the Super Bowl. But the Lions are now probably in a top 3 division in the league. That division is going to be insane. It could be a grab bag for that division. That the Lions are there. And Jared Goff got paid. And speaking of that division, there's the Packers. What do the Packers fan base think? We've got another Hall of Fame quarterback. LOL. Is Jordan Love going to be the guy? Now, as I did this video, as I do it, I knew he got injured near the end of that game. I walked off. Now I don't know anything else about it. But if Love is out, the Packers' chances have diminished. Because I don't know if that Dixon kid or even the Penn State guy, Sean Clifford, is going to take over. But if Jordan Love is healthy and he stays alive, that is the youngest offense in the league, hands down. And the Packers will be formidable. And I had them, I think, at an 8 here, but they can be in the Super Bowl bubble. The Houston Texans, what do the Texans fan base think? CJ Stroud will win MVP? Yeah, that's not out of the question. Why not? Tank Dell, Nico Collins, you got Stephon Diggs, Dalton Schultz is your tight end, I believe if I'm right. Young defense, young head coach, D'Amico Ryans is the head coach, and CJ Stroud if he does not have a sophomore slump, the Texans may win the division and very well could get to the AFC title game. And it's not out of the question. Houston is there. Ownership is the only issue. Otherwise, they finally let them run the team the way it should. Indianapolis, the Colts. What do the Colts fan base think? AR is that guy. Watch out. Probably the only thing major on this team. Anthony Richardson played like 5 games before he had a shoulder injury. If he is healthy, Indianapolis is going to take a step forward. I don't know if they make the playoffs. Young talent, young wide receivers, young defense. Shane Steichen's the head coach. We're not going to know until you throw a couple more games for Anthony Richardson, that freak of an athlete. We'll find out. And we're hanging in that division. The Jaguars. What do the Jaguars fan base think? T-Law and BTJ will be electric. You just have to find the right pieces. And Trevor Lawrence now has his bag. And we now have to figure out if these guys are going to be the next big pieces for the Jaguars offense and defense. If they weren't injury riddled last year, they would have gotten a little bit farther. I don't really need to go too much into the Kansas City Chiefs. What do the fan base think? We're the modern day Patriots. I should just move on because that is no further than the truth. And Mahomes may win MVP again. He now has weapons. Xavier Worthy now could very well be a problem. Not even a threat, a problem to the league. Let's just move on. The Raiders, the Vegas Raiders, what does that fan base think? At least Minshew looks cool. As of this moment, Minshew will be the quarterback. But I can tell you this right now, if Devontae Adams is gone, then you will see a huge unleashing of talent and a bunch of draft picks for the next handful of years. And the Raiders probably maybe a bottom 5 team in the league to get a quarterback next year. And the quarterback class is not as good as last year's, but it's in 2 weeks in college football, it's getting there. So start looking, start scouting now. The LA what I just call them, the Chargers, the LA Chargers, what do their fan base think? Harbaugh is the truth. Could very well be. I threw that video out numerous months ago. Nobody in LA cares about the Chargers. Jim Harbaugh is there. That is his job. And he's going to pretty much take this team, throw it through a ringer, and start all over again, and it's going to be run first. And Justin Herbert will not be thrown 40 times a game. He's only going to be thrown 25, 30 times because they are going to be run heavy. They got both running backs from the Ravens in free agency. This is going to be a little bit of a rebuild, but we know Harbaugh can rebuild teams. Look at his history. The other team in LA, the Rams, what do their fan base think? Stafford still has it. He does. Aging quarterback, but he still has talent. And good Lord, the running back is young. You got a trio of great wide receivers, a young tight end, and Sean McVay, probably the best young coach in the league. He's been there a handful now, and he's got a Super Bowl. The LA's got a Super Bowl, and they also could be in the Super Bowl bubble. Never count out the Rams in that division with the 49ers, the Seahawks, and the Cardinals. Never count them out. The Miami Dolphins. I got some Dolphins friends that are fans and all that stuff. What do their fan base think? Speed kills. The Cheetah, Tyreek Hill, Waddle, and those 2 running backs. And now Tua's got the bag. Miami, there's a lot of people that think they can win the division, and we'll find that out. Because that division now, Buffalo losing a couple wideouts, the Dolphins picking up, the Jets, the Patriots are going to be a bottom team. We know that. But you never count the Dolphins out. Minnesota, The Vikings go skull, whatever. What is their fan base thinking? We're waiting on J.J. McCarthy. And you'll be waiting for a while. He's out for the year with a torn meniscus. So you guys are going to have to deal with Sam Darnold, which is what you probably are going to be dealing with anyway. So put those teams in the NFC North. The Vikings will be at the bottom, but the talent is there. Keep your eyes out for the Vikings. They may make some moves, but I don't know if they're going to compete just because of quarterback. I mean, I think McCarthy looked pretty good in the offseason, in the preseason, but things happen. He's out. And speaking of what was the evil empire, what do the Patriots fan base think? Drake May is the future. And he probably will be. I mean, I get Jacoby Brissett will be the starter. And Drake May did not do bad in the preseason. I should not hate on this team very much because we all know there was two reasons why. It was Brady and Belichick. But that showed a dynasty in 20 years. The Patriots are going to be a bottom 3, bottom 5 team. There is no talent on this team. I know they're trying to, but they need draft capital. Let's move on. The Saints. New Orleans. What is their fan base thinking? Get Derek Carr off my team. I mean, Derek Carr was great for the Raiders. Never made it to as far as, didn't go too far for the Raiders. And 1 year wasn't crazy enough. Now it's a fight between him and Spencer Rattler for the job. But New Orleans, even though they have the same technical percentage of an easy schedule as the Falcons, they got them. And Dennis Allen may not make the season. Who knows? The Giants, the New York Football Giants, the G-Men. What are they saying? This is your last chance, Daniel. Daniel Jones, why did you pay him instead of Saquon Barkley? I think after the Brazil game with Saquon Barkley getting 3 touchdowns, I think you're biting the bullet. Giants are also going to be a bottom-tier team. Daniel Jones, you're getting all that money, and I don't know if you're going to have trade value. That's what I'm thinking. The Jets, Jets, Jets. What are those people thinking? Rodgers healthy equals Super Bowl. You got young talent on that team, but are they going to follow the footsteps of the 40-year-old coming off an Achilles injury that only played 4 plays? The defense is decent, and Robert Saleh's job is on the line. Maybe even Joe Douglas, the GM. But the Jets, it all comes down to Aaron Rodgers and his health. Simple enough. The Philadelphia Eagles, Eagles, Eagles. For my Philly people, what are they thinking? You can't defend our offense. The 1-year game against Green Bay, that was a preview. 4 months into a possible playoff team. Philly, you just got to get the connection between Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts, and you very well may be. And it happened early last season. You were near unstoppable before you fell apart at the end. You stay on target, you're going to win your division by default. Simple. The Steelers. What is Steeler Nation thinking? I have to watch Russell Wilson. You kind of have to, but he's out for week 1, so Justin Fields is going to be starting from what I'm heard. He's questionable, but Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, dual 2-quarterback system because you people, the Steeler Nation, do not ever hear the words rebuilding. They never want to hear it, but they are now to the point where they better start thinking about the future and a quarterback out of that draft class coming up. I'm just saying, being honest, being a Penguins fan. 49ers, what are they thinking over there? Run it back. We're fine. They have talent all over the place. That's why Brock Purdy succeeds. Brock Purdy, if he succeeds again this year, whether they make the Super Bowl or not, will be paid. Ayuk is back. There you got Debo, you got Kittle. That defense, and you got Trent Williams back. It's going to be the same exact team. The 49ers will not be going anywhere. The Seahawks. What does Seattle and those people thinking now? JSN is the next big thing. JSN is that other wide receiver next door to this messes me up. But it all comes down to Geno Smith and his health. And you got Sam Howell as a backup. So is Jackson Nigma going to be? Is he going to be the piece? We'll find out because they're in a tough division. Tampa Bay. What is Tampa Bay's fan base thinking? Our division sucks. It's ours again. Or is it? As a Falcons fan, I have to say that it's going to be competitive because as long as you got Baker Mayfield, not a lot of those pieces left. Mike Evans is still there. Rondell White, I believe, is still the running back. As long as Baker Mayfield is playing on his peak, the Tampa is not going anywhere. I give you that one in that division. And also, real quick, whoever wins that division is going to be the only team that goes into the playoffs. And then there's Tennessee. What is the Titans and those people in Nashville? What are they thinking? Will Levis is that guy. Maybe, maybe, maybe you redid your entire wide receiver core, and you lost Derrick Henry, but you pick up Tony Pollard. So Will Levis, who was a Penn Stater, then transferred to Kentucky, and Mr. Biceps in the bathroom mirror. If he is the guy, Tennessee is not going to be an easy out. But defense is still in a massive rebuild, new head coach. Tennessee, we'll find that out down the road. And then they are the Washington Commanders / Washington football team. What is their fan base thinking? Overdoses on Daniels LSU highlights. If Jaden Daniels is what everybody thinks, watch out. Washington may make some noise. I did of their video of their schedule, and if hang around 10-7, 11-6, maybe 9-8, you could sneak into the wild card in that division. Ladies and gentlemen, I pretty much have to burn and pretty much end this video because that is what a lot of people of their fan bases are thinking. So if you agree on that, excellent. Throw a comment in. If you disagree, throw a comment in on that. I'm shutting the bar down because this video has gone way too long, but you have made it to the end of this video. And you know I do appreciate that. Thumbs up, hit a like. Are you ready for the NFL season? Throw a like, throw a comment in and tell me what you're looking forward to your team. I'm getting the heck out of here. As always, if you want to hang out again, hit that subscribe button. That way I can see you legends, in the next one. Thumbs up, and I will see you when I see you.